Liars, thieves and utter incompetence. I mean, you're looking at some of the favourites to help the ANC win the elections. And now a Secretary-General facing chilling allegations of corruption. Elders in the party are calling for a massive clean-up ahead of the elections. Fair to say, the ANC is in bad shape. Can the party find the kind of leaders that we deserve? Joining me in studio is ANC veteran Mavuso Msimang. Very good to have you with us. Your heart must be bleeding at what you're seeing going on.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Why is this
My
happening?
heart and the heart of many ANC people is bleeding that we're not really coming on top of our problems quickly enough. But one is consoled by the fact that we can now talk about a glass that is half full, moving towards full, not in the time and pace that we would like. We really have moved away from when there was the emptiness that was just draining all our energies. But you know, there is an election on the 8th of May. The fight against corruption, because that's what we're talking about, is taking place, as can be evidenced in many ways, which we can talk about. So, yes, it's bleeding because we're about to go to the electorate and ask them to elect us, and we haven't quite sorted out our problem.
And it's been painful hearing how the country's been stripped dry, isn't it? I mean, just awful. Obviously, it's better that people know. You say corruption is being fought, but yet you talk about the list, and we see the people who are on the ANC party list. And how can you clean up corruption when you've got people who are at the centre of some of it?
Unfortunately, that's real politics. You know, I want to make an example of the president moving as quickly as he could, where he had a free hand to move. Like, for instance, cleaning up the SOE, the state-owned enterprises that were ravaged by state capture, moving in on SARS, on setting up the commission, Zondo, and so on. That he had a free hand to do, and he's moved with speed. It's not as easy when you're dealing with a party in which you had a narrow victory, and although everybody declared that we are one now, we do know that some people are not moving in step with the rest of the others.
Okay, you say he had a free hand to clean up the SOEs. Who and what is holding him back in cleaning up the party list?
It is the forces, and I can only identify them as forces that had, by and large, opposed him. He had a narrow victory. And people are not quite happy. You've heard utterances by senior people in the ANC saying, oh, well, we'll go back to where we were. So that kind of talk indicates to you that there are people who are not quite committed to the cause of taking the ANC forward. And they are there because...
How can they not be committed? I mean, if you're not taking it forward, you are basically... I mean, obviously you're benefiting from Zuma's days, and you're looking at a party that's collapsing.
Unfortunately, they are part of the problem, and perhaps they may not even appreciate the extent to which they are contributing to the collapse. And there is nothing that, say, Cyril Ramaphosa can do, for instance, to move away, to remove people who were elected. They were elected. Whatever we think of those elections, we have to accept that some of these people were elected into these positions. So the way of removing them is different from, you can't just decree that he must go.
Okay, but if the ANC wins and those on the list are empowered and in high positions, I mean, what does it say going forward? It means that we're going to see pretty much the same, that the destruction that we've seen will continue, because he won't be able to do Cyril Ramaphosa the job that he says that he wants to do.
I don't know. I don't see why he shouldn't be able to do that. People think it's an excuse. He is a president not by popular vote as yet. After May 18th, if he succeeds, which I hope he does, he will have the mandate of the whole country, even as they will have voted for the ANC. I think he'll have a much freer hand to do what needs to be done. If he failed to do that, I'm telling you, well, I mean, it would be too late for those who would have trusted us when we asked them to vote for him. But I see movement in that direction.
Because it's not going to come from those that you've asked to step off the list, has it? Because nobody's come forward yet.
Yes. Well, it depends on where they are. You know, one of the requests that we have made, we being the veterans and other people in Gauteng who met to discuss this matter, they said, if people should refuse to step down, the ones that were asking out of conscience to step down, if they stay on, we are appealing to the president and all those who have the power to ensure that they do not occupy or not give in positions other than the most basic, where they can...
Because, you know, if you look at Gwede Mantashe, Nomvula Mokonyane, Batabile Dlamini, I mean, you wonder, you know, they're pretty high up on the list. You wonder what power it is that they have, knowing what we know about them. And clearly they're not going to go anywhere.
Well, if they're elected MPs, if we had our way and these are the bad people, then they will be MPs and no one can stop the people electing them MPs. They don't have to be anything else, do they? No one is obliged to take anybody into, say, cabinet or some other responsible position simply because they're in the top 10. They may be, might feel constrained to some of those things, but this is a cleanup operation. If there are people who are in the top 10 who should not be there, and he knows them, then he must know how to act.
Okay, we're going to take your word for that. Let's talk about the other end of the list. We've got Pravin Gordhan, he's on number position 73, Derek Hanekom, Minister of Tourism at 95. I mean, we know, unless there's something lurking around, that they're pretty much not tainted. They've done a pretty good job, and yet they are right up at the bottom end of the list. What does that say?
What it says is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done around what everybody knows is our very defective electoral system. We have branches, and at times when it's convenient, every leader of the ANC has admitted that the branches are highly, highly contaminated. There's a lot of corruption there. It's clear that factionalism has played a role in the election of the people. I don't know that anybody is obliged, if you liked Derek Hanekom and wanted him to be in a more active position after the elections, if he makes it through the list, that anything would stop a president who wants to restructure the organization from doing that.
Okay, so we've talked about the rot in the party and, you know, how devastating it is for you. So many of you, you know, fought for your lives and your families to get to this point. And I'm just wondering how you feel about the leadership that we need now, and if other, I know you support Cyril Ramaphosa, but other than the president, who can take us comfortably and happily and honestly to a healthy future?
You know, I can understand the frustration of everybody. You know, as a rule, you say, we've cleaned ourselves up, elect us. Now, we seem to be saying, give us a little bit of time. We're in the process of cleaning up. But you must understand, cleaning the audience stables takes a little bit of time. But without being disrespectful to others, it really would be important to have an ANC that is winning itself of corruption in power than to have some of the other people who are no less corrupt than this ANC. We speak for ourselves.
So can we see a new ANC? I mean, should the ANC have failed even further for it to clean itself up a lot quicker than it has?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
I was just saying, can you see a new ANC, a new clean ANC? And should the party possibly have collapsed even more for it to have happened faster?
You know, I think it can happen. It has to happen. It has to happen. I have no means of ensuring that, other than the work that many people are doing, talking to comrades in the provinces. The Veterans League, which is a formal structure of the African National Congress, is holding meetings in provinces and sending the same message that let's rebuild our organization, let's win it of these kinds of people. How much we succeed, I don't know, but the process is moving forward.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Mavuso Msimang. Thank you.
Thank you.